Hey guys, it's Joe from Finding Faith, and before I get into this video, real quickly I just want to ask you guys, how are you doing? I'm trying to make a habit of asking about this more often in my videos because I really care about you guys and I think it's so easy for us, especially in Western culture. We just get caught up in our lives and trying to do all this stuff that we don't really pay attention to what's going on internally. So I just thought it was important to ask you that, just take a moment if you need to, stop watching this video if you have to, and just figure out how you're doing and what you need to do about it. Of course, I would recommend going to God if there's something wrong, and if there's not, praising God. Okay, enough on that. Let's talk about the subject of the video. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, has to do with the subject of failing when you are telling someone about Christ. Not failing to tell someone about Christ, but failing in the act of telling someone about Christ. This can happen. You can have this really great, idea in your head of what Christ is and how you're going to communicate that to someone, and then they throw you off with a question, or they don't receive it the way you want to receive it, or, it doesn't make sense to them in the way that it makes sense to you. These things happen, and I would say are actually probably more common than not, and it's very easy to just take all that on. So I'm here to tell you in this video that not only do you not have to do that, but you shouldn't do that. It is completely inadvisable, and actually you could even argue it's a little bit sinful. The reason why that is because the Bible makes it very clear that God is the one who changes hearts. God is the one who is active and present in our lives. God is the one who chooses us, who brings us to Him. And it's so easy to get caught up in this mentality that we need constant success in our evangelization, if you want to call it that unfortunately sometimes we forget that we're just vessels. It's the Word of God, it's the Bible and what God has to say through the people who wrote the Bible that is doing the active work in the life of the person that you're talking to. Now, of course, God also works through supernatural means to bring people to Him. There's all kinds of stories about that you can read about online and books that are really interesting. But remember, when you are telling someone about Christ, it's God working in their hearts once they've heard the words from you. So if you fail once in a while, that's okay, because God is the one who's going to bring the person to Him. It's not you, it's God. The reason why I said it can be somewhat sinful to take on this mentality is because you are putting your ability to evangelize over God's ability to work in someone's heart when you do that. And it's a very easy sin to accidentally commit, and I say that because I've committed it. And I still find myself falling victim to that sometimes when I tell people about Christ in my life. So what can kind of help avoiding this mentality is just being really prayerful about it, when you're sharing with someone and you make these mistakes. If they genuinely are your mistakes, learn from them. Make a note of them. To quote Yoda in the most recent Star Wars movie, "The greatest teacher failure is." Sorry, I just kind of wanted to use my Yoda voice a little bit. But it's absolutely true. Failure really is an amazing teacher. It sucks sometimes, but it really is. And it can help your future evangelization and your future sharings of Christ with people if you really let it. The goal, though, is just not taking on too much. Talking to someone else if you have to afterwards and just saying, hey, I felt like I did a really bad job, and learning from what that other person has to say can also be really helpful. Plus, you never know what kind of effect you'll have years down the road. Maybe years down the road, they'll remember your testimony or whatever it is that you told them, and it will have an effect, even if it didn't have an effect on them when you told it to them. And one last thing, because this is important, actions oftentimes speak louder than words. So it could be that you're saying all these things and they're not really hearing what you're saying so much as they're paying attention to how you're saying it, or what you're doing, or other things that you're doing. And those are the things that we take on through reading Paul's letters, through understanding what Jesus said about the lives that we should be living. Those are the things that can really help bring people to Christ. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day or a blessed night. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share my videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.